Well, we do have a draft now,
it's-
so we can hop
yeah,
into
it's
that.
banned. It was banned. Of course it was banned.
So the
TNC
Axe,
Predators turn to
Dazzle.
ban.
Is there anything from the last game that you really don't want to play against for either team?
Fanatics turn to
I
ban.
don't think necessarily. I think we'll see the same similar bans maybe. IO again, potentially.
TNC
There we go.
Predators turn
And
to
then
ban.
Tusk +1 probably ban. But the one here you might consider is
Turn
Centaur.
to
Nope, they
ban.
don't ban Centaur. They ban Grimstroke. So first pick TNC. I just can't believe the Brewmaster was not picked in the first
Yeah.
stage.
Nah,
I
especially
think
with the Lich.
I think that's got to be the change. You're like, well, that didn't work. Let's go back to the Brewmaster at some point. So Lich for now. I think a Lich Brew would be a great opening from TNC.
Yeah.
But at the same time, Fnatic
They
may
can get it, yeah.
they may be like, look, we won with Centaur. Let's not just repeat our previous draft. Let's do something else that we believe is strong, like the Brewmaster.
They just love the Phoenix too. Like they could just first face the Phoenix because
And I think they like Phoenix better with Centaur than Brew as part of it, because you get more stun, you get a control, you have
Yeah.
Stampede to play around. It just seems like a better team fight compared to Brewmaster.
I think they'll know if
Fanatics
since they just lost to Phoenix. Or maybe not. Maybe they pick the Rubik. Okay.
Is Centaur?
Centaur Rubik.
I mean, it was quite
It's the
good.
same opener.
But
Oh,
yeah.
there's the change. Yeah.
Okay.
That's good. That's what we thought they were going to first do last
Yeah,
game.
the Morphling didn't really do much. They second picked the Morphling.
He lost his lane terribly.
Died
Yeah.
solo to Rubik.
That's
Those
true. And he
early-
also died solo to Lena.
Those
in the
early
lane.
outplays from Abed were really nice. Like
Yeah.
he was putting so much pressure on. We kept looking to the mid lane, and it looked like, oh, Abed's under his own tower. No, that's the enemy tower.
Yeah.
You know.
Then there's people TPing in and he's staying under the... He was behind the tier 1 when they TP'd in and going for the kill on the support. It
Yeah.
was like, dude,
Yeah.
just chill out, man.
Give him a break. He wasn't doing it.
That was the period of the game where Abed used all his tips. He didn't have any in the late game.
It's 3 per game, even in private lobbies. Is that how it works?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you
He
don't,
used- he
you
used
don't
the-
give away points, though.
No, you don't. But you only have 3 still.
Yeah.
He used the tip rush strat, which is where you do that. You know.
You try to tilt them as soon as possible.
Right, right. Try to go to that like S or A tier of tiltability in the early game.
That's what's
Okay.
most
Snowballs.
important. You mess up a last hit, you mess up a positioning, suddenly you get solo killed.
Do you think the teams strategize their tips, like have a couple players designated to the early game and some, like, look, you need to save your tips for later on in the round?
For sure, for sure.
Like, if we start losing and we need to, like, you know, you've got a carry that can be tilted, you're like, okay, it's your job to, you know, boost his morale with some tips.
Well, you know that your team might have some players that tilt or have some confidence issues, and
Yeah.
then you can save some tips for them. It's like, okay, we can use some tips to tilt this player, but remember, we got this guy, like he needs
Save
to
it
as well.
And carrying on with that, too,
Yeah,
is that a tip from a person that just outplayed you is going to tilt you more. So you got to make sure that everybody at least has one tip left over, because like
Yeah.
you get that
Oh,
one
because you
super
can't, you
outplay.
can't predict when those are going to happen.
Exactly.
That's all points in the game.
the, the quintuple tip.
Oh,
Oh,
That's
a
the
good one.
VP strat. They do it anytime they play PPD. 5 tips the second they get in the game. Right at
You know,
PPD.
I watched one of their games in the other region, of course, and there's a Broodmother. It was Team Empire picked Broodmother, quintuple tip right as soon as they got into the game on that Broodmother pick.
Huh.
And you know what the Broodmother did in that game? Absolutely nothing.
It's a call out. Yeah,
It
it's
is.
like try and beat us
All right, you last picked Brood. Let's see how this goes.
And PPD has not beaten VP in like years. He's lost like the last 12 best of 3s against them.
They've got
so
the
That's why
mental
they all
game
tip
figured
them.
out.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
really do.
It could have been a great Brood game, but that Brood sees those 5 tips and suddenly it's like, oh no. VP wanted me
That's
to pick
all
Brood.
the pressure on
Yeah,
you.
it's the pressure, and it's like basically saying they knew the Brood was coming, even if they didn't. It could have completely caught them off guard.
Yeah. It
And
makes
they
you
know
think
that they're
about
gonna
it.
like beat that ass too. It's like
yeah.
you just don't have the
Oh,
answer.
there was so much ass beating going on in that game.
Slark ban? Oh
Yeah, it's like
man.
maybe a hero that can actually lane against the Brew Lich. Unclear.
Does steal, all the stats. This is a hero that I was expecting we'd see a lot more in this patch.
That may be the hero to secure the lane.
Yeah.
You see this Brew Lich, Fnatic have run it. That means typically teams who run it and understand it know how to also play against it.
I actually think this is the counter. I've played the Brew Lich lane a lot, very popular in NA pubs, and I've played against the Undying, and it feels like that's one of the few heroes you can't actually trade with.
It's a classic counter.
It's a classic, for sure.
5 seconds
Especially to the Grimstroke, too. And to that Mars hero. It's a classic counter to Mars. Whatever the hell that is. Yeah,
That should be here soon, right? It's winter. That's
soon,
what they
yeah.
said.
Maybe after the qualifiers.
Valve Winter's long. You know, might be like a Game of Thrones winter that just drags.
You have to remember they
Seattle.
are,
It's a
2-year
they
long
are in
winter.
Seattle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's cloudy, like 100
It's kind of
and something
always
days
a little
year.
chilly there, so you can justify.
Yeah.
Okay, it's still winter, guys.
Mars comes out in like April, June, and Valve's like, "It's here, guys.
Yeah.
Still winter." Take a picture of Mount Rainier, and it's like, "Look, there's some snow up there."
I promise. That is a pretty mountain. I love that mountain.
Which one is that? Is that the one you fly by when you go to Seattle?
Yeah,
The big. Is
Yeah,
there-
I assume so. That's the Seattle Mountain. Mount
it's the
Rainier.
big mountain.
giant.
It's
right?
the only mountain I
it's
know
like
of.
the largest mountain.
It's not Everest size, but it's like
Yeah, it is.
It-
It's Everest.
The largest mountain ever.
well, but Everest is still the biggest.
No, it's Everest. I don't know what I'm doing anymore.
Maybe it's the second biggest mountain in the world. I actually don't know what the second biggest
it's
mountain is.
the
definitely
the
not.
first biggest mountain in the world is that one on Mars, Olympics.
Yeah.
You heard of that one?
It's not on Earth.
What are you talking?
The biggest mountain on Earth is that one on Mars.
Yeah, dude, it's huge. Have you seen it? It's like this.
Yeah, I actually was there the other week. Yeah, I
Yeah.
have seen it.
Really?
He just got back. Where do you think he was? He was jet lagged.
Is that where the accent is from? You live there? Hmm. It all makes sense now.
I'm just gonna keep on slouching in this couch. This couch is so comfy.
Get comfy.
Yeah,
Fall asleep today.
I know, right?
I'm headed that direction.
Seconds remaining.
Ooh, we got word. Rainier is 21 on the
5
list.
seconds
And if you
remaining.
add 2 plus 1, that's 3,
TNC
which is
Predators.
more than 1, so it's the biggest mountain in the world.
21 bigger than one.
This was once an education.
This is
stream.
great analysis going on.
So we
Uh,
we got a Morphling. That's a
Okay.
cool dude.
All right. He's pretty chill.
I don't know if
10
MP's a
seconds
Morphling
remaining.
player really. I don't know if I've seen him play much of that.
That feels like an Abed hero.
5 seconds
Yeah,
remaining.
it kind of does feel a bit more like an Abed hero.
He's being played a lot more in the mid lane too these days. The Morphling.
Yeah.
Just so nice if you can get some farm and levels in the early game.
Fnatic's
Actually,
turn
obviously
to
mostly
ban
levels in the mid lane.
Templar
Although I wouldn't want to mid
Assassin.
against that hero.
Mm.
for sure.
Suddenly you're, moving up maybe more towards the side lane. The Undying does allow you to run most carries there because it's just such a strong lane secure.
I
Yeah.
mean, you could run the Undying like mid to mess with the TA a little bit. Just try and
Yeah.
decay a little bit. secure
The
lane.
stat steal, of course, goes through the refraction. So
10
yeah, pretty good.
seconds remaining.
also, actually, I wonder how the Undying ultimate works with the TA refraction. The
5
fact that it
seconds
now
remaining.
drains HP. I wonder if
Yeah.
that goes through the refraction. I mean,
How
either.
many how many instances?
Yeah,
is
yeah.
it?
Is
How-
Soul
how-
Rip
how quick is
still
it?
multiple instances? Because it used to be.
I think so. I don't
I
remember
feel
them
like
changing that.
I feel like I remembered
I
that
actually
from
mean
one
like
of the
the, like you
previous
can
changes.
you can take off all of the refraction charges, right, with one Soul Rip.
Okay. I thought I remembered that was something that might have been changed
They
in a
changed
patch, like 2 patches ago or something maybe, but I don't remember.
It's so hard to keep track of all these
Yeah.
random mechanics in this game. It's the beauty of Dota, though. So let's see. Any Meepo picks? You get any Meepos in this game?
Yeah.
Nah, it doesn't look like it.
I mean, they don't
Could always
really-
come out when it's Abed. Meepo is good against TA.
Seems like there aren't. I mean, they don't
Is the
have
new
much
Meepo good
AoE
against
damage.
TA?
I have no idea,
You don't have
actually.
the. I mean, I'm sure it is once you have some items.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Just because you have multiple Meepos too, it's
Yeah.
more straightforward. Take off refraction.
Then the net reveals invis.
I think Geostrike was really good against TA
It was,
before
it
though,
was.
and now it's like less so.
But the what is it called? Ransack? The Ransack
Yeah.
might take off multiple instances because I know with Storm Spirit his passive takes off multiple instances of the refraction because you have the passive plus the auto attack. So I don't know. Who knows? I mean, in any case, it's a bunch of little guys hitting this person who has the refraction charges. So
And they don't have like AoE disable really.
the Lich ulti's pretty good against the Meepo though.
Yeah, but it's like good against it in the same way that
5
like
seconds
I don't know.
remaining.
if you're not amazing at micro, I guess it's still like pretty good because you've got like Sinister Gaze, so you could pull one of the Meepos
TNC
back in
Predators
closer too.
turn to pick.
So it's probably better than it used to be.
Yeah.
It always felt like a sort of soft counter to Meepo.
Yeah, that's true. If you have a few soft counters, it's pretty good though, but maybe not against Abed. Ban the Huskar, of course, because they have the TA. That's like such a typical thing. You pick the TA, ban Huskar, and then pick whatever the other hero is. How many times have we seen the second to last pick TA?
10
It's like second to last pick TA or
remaining.
second to last pick Timber
Yeah.
that we're seeing, because you just force the enemy team to
5
play your
seconds
sort of game.
remaining.
And there's just like one with TA. There's this one obvious hero that you just ban with Timber. It's like you see most of the enemy draft and they just can't beat
Yeah,
you,
like
and you ban the OD or something.
Right, like even if you pick a counter, you're still not going to be able to kill me because I see all your other heroes.
And I was thinking when I saw the camp changes that it was going to be worse for TA because she can't stack her on Ancients, but it's almost like kind of okay because you can take that medium camp earlier. Ooh,
Yeah, exactly.
it's happened!
Finally! All right.
Alright.
All right.
Excited for this?
I'll be excited to see how he uses the new Hawks.
Let's put Brew into the safe lane.
Oh god, they forgot!
All right.
Ah, wow, it's a good Timber game too.
That's a pretty good Timber game. I don't see how they kill him ever.
Oh no!
It's Abed's turn.
Oh, man.
Did you
Decisively
see how
Centaur.
quickly they snap picked that thing?
Man, if this was last patch and that was a Timber pick, I wouldn't care that much. But this hero feels so strong.
It's what, just Chain Frost. Other than that, it's like all physical damage.
Yeah.
Does the Beastmaster help at all? Like, you can build Medallion maybe?
They
goes minus armor?
honestly need like
It's not enough minus
they honestly
armor.
need like such an early Silver Edge from Beastmaster or something in this game. This is they need really early counters to this hero, like Silver Edge.
You need to take a bunch of early towers and I think take over the map too. Like
yeah, if they
Snowball, shut down Morphling's farm.
Yeah.
Like if you're not going to beat the Timber and his lane. Like he's just naturally going to get farm. So I don't think you can prioritize Timber personally.
Do you want a
if
matchup
it
of
wasn't a-
Beastmaster versus Timber and try and secure your Morphling's lane? Like, it'd be terrible for
Because
Beastmaster.
we're going
but-
to see Timber mid versus TA. I
Oh,
can't
right,
imagine,
yeah, of course.
We'll see
Like-
Morphling safe lane with the Undying.
really like the only way is if Timber dramatically screws up in the early game and gets far behind and TA gets a blink deso. The Timber could
Yeah.
look weak, but
That lane should be fine for TA, I would assume. I
think
really
he'll
know how it
farm. Yeah,
goes.
I think he'll probably farm.
Imagine TA maybe even be able to not have a bit of a deny advantage.
I've seen a couple of times Abed's against, like, really strong right-click laners. He'll go in and get, like, the Whirling Death onto the first round of creeps, and then he'll have the second one up, so he secures himself level 2. And then that way, like, you can sort of get into your early levels and not have to worry about getting denied out too much. I don't know if that's what he's going to go for here, but
That's a scary looking TA on your screen. What the hell's going on there, Gabe?
it's a spooky one.
Boy,
That's the set. Have you not seen that set?
Looks like straight out of like The Ring or something.
that's what I was thinking. He's coming at us.
Let's
Coming
take
out
a
of
look.
some Japanese horror movie.
Look at her. She's spooky.
Prepare for battle.
That does not look like TA.
The way that her body is contorted, she's gonna have some lower back issues for sure.
Yeah, I know bad posture. That is not good posture.
But it's very cool anime running. That's what it is.
Oh, it actually is
slow
super
anime running though.
Oh, you gotta move.
Seems so
Rude,
unnecessary.
No good luck. Have fun. Oh, Ninja Boogie calling him out.
I like what I see.
Let's see. Item-wise, anything peculiar? That's not how you say that word.
Okay, we gotta see the all chat, man.
Oh, I'm sorry. Where is it?
Forget items. Forget that. Okay. Ice, not friendly. Okay.
Smoke.
Give them the
30
tip.
seconds to battle.
Oh.
How would you rate that tip? Was that a good use of one of your
it's-
3 precious tips?
It saves you. You know, he insults you, says that you're not nice, and yeah, that at least saves you the.
Pushing enter and having to think of a response
Yeah,
and type
exactly,
it. That takes
exactly.
energy.
Well, the thing is, when somebody says something that's mean like that, like you're not a nice person or whatever, it's hard to come up with a response for that. It takes effort that he can be putting into.
Looking at the map.
Yeah. Don't want to use up your creative juices on a witty response here.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Ooh. Look at Jabs. Taking some of these damages here. Not really that afraid of the boar, apparently.
I mean, this is, I think, kind of cool idea to run the brew in the safe lane because then you avoid this Undying matchup.
That is 2 boars.
I think the Undying would have caused Brew Lich lane some problems. But Beastmaster, I mean, still a melee hero that he can decay, but not a hero that's going to do as poorly as the Brew, perhaps.
Yeah, I agree. I think the Undying's just too good against that lane.
Oh, blocked it into the
Oh,
tower.
he's gonna cut the next wave, I think, on the
Mean,
Beastmaster.
It's already going to be pushing out because of the block, though.
Yeah, that's
But
kind of
he
weird.
may cut it as well.
You
And
could
then,
still just give the Shadow
yeah.
Shaman the XP.
yeah, he gets one wave, Beastmaster gets the next. Shaman's, yeah, he's taking some.
He's
Some
fine with
hits here.
this.
But
This
yeah.
is nice.
There we go. That works just fine.
Beastmaster very good at cutting this wave with either the boar or the axes. It's just such a long-range, low-commitment way to just grab the wave. Always an option on that hero, which is very nice.
And I'll get that one through. And the Stout Shield procs, Jabs takes no damage. Like that.
This hero. So good at securing the safe lane. But now he has the added effectiveness of having that ultimate, and people always complain that Undying falls off going into the any point of the game that's not the laning stage, basically, and now he is actually very, very effective with that Flush Golem. I think this hero should be picked up a lot more than it is currently.
Oh. So far, nothing really to write home about. Looks like the normal stuff, battling for these lane control. Tim's going to take a little bit of a pound in there. And, well,
Nice double decay.
oh,
Wow.
Oh my god.
That
Very nice
damage.
double decay.
Decay, soul rip. Okay. That's a standard tip. That's some good play.
And Abed almost goes
Thing is
down
with
there
a,
mid
with
too.
a tip like that is like even a 3K tipping player would know to do that tip just because it was really solid.
Yeah, it wasn't like a high skill tip.
No, no,
It
of course
was.
not.
It's still consistent,
You still have to go with
reliable
those.
play.
You know,
You
I
still
think
have
he'll
to go
take
with
the
those.
high skill play over the high skill tip, to be
I
honest.
don't know about that. This was like League of Legends or something maybe, but this is Dota. Taunts and tips, that's what we're all about.
That's right. I want to see how Cuckoo is maxing things here. Doesn't have third point yet, and ooh,
Dodges the
uses the
stun.
movement, chasing forward, and looks like they're going to be able to give a couple more punches here. Yeah, it's a little bit of a different lane. The basically first two picks both facing off against each other.
TA taking a CS advantage just a little bit. Expected with the refraction, but eventually the Timber's not going to care. I mean, he doesn't care just because Timber's such a good hero in the game. As long as he's getting something.
Well, again, taking those early points and retaliate for Ice Ice Ice. I guess when he's feeling like if you're trading with another hero, it's worth it.
Seems kind of like a value point too. Yeah.
I think I've seen people even go for 3 points in it, like maxing it.
Goodness. Ninja Boogie down very low.
Maxing the stun too. I've seen all sorts
Radiant's
of builds on
bottom
Centaur.
tower
People are
is
just trying to
under
figure out
attack.
how to lane him in the new patch.
Oh, he's going to do the deny.
Not as good as it used to be with the added respawn
Radiant's
time.
top
We've seen a
tower
lot
is
less
under
of this,
attack.
but Undying, as far as heroes go to still do it, is probably one of the best.
Yeah, he's low level enough too that the respawn time
Yeah.
is not a huge deal.
It's not hardly anything.
Armel's doing a really good job hitting him with these side blades. That's kind of the only way that you can pressure Timber in this lane.
I think we brought it up the other day. I think he's like actually the best TA player in the
Is he?
world,
You
maybe.
think so?
Yeah, I think he's up there.
Yeah.
Who
When
would be
you,
the
his laning,
competitors?
his laning stage is just insane. Like every time I watch him play TA mid, he just crushes his lane.
I think the Psy spill is still pure damage, right? Like it doesn't include the armor.
It was
Like-
one of the changed ones, yeah.
Is it pure? Do you have over it? Let's see if it's still pure damage.
Yep.
Oh, it is still pure damage. Okay, so it's one of the few things that Cleave now includes armor, but this does not. Although when Abed has the levels, he can just play up on the TA. So yeah, good luck side blading me.
Yeah, when I imagine maybe not level 3 reactive, but level 4, he can just play behind the tier 1 and
Yeah,
even
exactly.
tank
Exactly.
tower shots at that point. Nice kill with the Lich armor. Lich Brewmaster, we're seeing again, this time in the safe lane, but the same principle applies as they're going to get the both bounty runes as well.
Oh, nice. Tim's. Who's faster, you or me? And actually going to turn around, has a mango available as well as the shackles, so looks like they're going to lose the Undying
Doesn't
here.
matter. He got the rune. Doesn't matter.
Gets top lane, I like what Brew did. After getting the kill and going for the bounty rune, he buys the bottle first from that secret shop, uses all the charges, then refills it.
Yeah.
It's when you're winning your lane and you like get a kill or can afford the bottle at that 5-minute mark, buying a bottle is just so valuable.
Ah, there it was. Did you see that? Cuckoo steals away the last hit from MP on the neutral. It's like a small one, and then just tips him afterwards.
Those tips are the high skill ones.
Yeah.
Like another one is like when you're a mid laner 1v1 and you're both like waiting to hit the range creep so that you can get the deny,
Yeah.
waiting for the other person, and then whoever gets the deny, you tip
Yeah.
the other player.
Right. You have to assess like the level of focus the other player has
Yeah.
on.
If you put in like 30 seconds of effort to get a deny and they mess it up, you're definitely giving a tip on that.
Oh, for sure.
Wait for him. Looking for it. Ooh.
I think a lot of low-rated players wouldn't understand that sort of mechanic, but
Yeah.
Only tip if you have high MMR.
Oh, it's a separate MMR altogether.
it is.
The
That's what I
tip
mean by
meta.
low-rated. I don't mean in terms of like pub MMR and Dota.
There's some 3K MMR Dota players who are like 7K MMR tippers.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Nifty. And everybody just keeps on getting super low. Couple kills here and there. Abed's level 6. Could make something happen with Chakra, maybe.
He needs a sentry, man. Send it a sentry, dog.
Wouldn't it be nice? If only he had supports that wanted to move in there and help him out.
Yeah, those traps give some good gold too. You
He
have
had
a sentry in
double
mid.
decay there? That's nuts. That was super close.
So Abed pretty happy with this lane now, even with the slight CS disadvantage. Well, Sigs, no real rotation potential from either side. It's just going to continue to be a static lane farming. The nice thing with the Timber is it kind of keeps the TA there too. Like TA can't farm the lane then go jungle that easily.
Yeah, because he'll just take the tower on Timber.
Chasing forward for more. Has another double edge in a second. Gabby wanting to make something happen himself, and
SS is baiting with the retaliate there.
oh, almost has it. Looking to get in position. The bottle charge. That's going to keep him alive. If he wanted to go back in there again.
Going for the 203.
Abed has a chakram here as well to burn through Refraction. Armel kind of low HP. Does have stick charges as well.
Here is where Abed can stop caring about his own life because he will never lose it.
It goes a little bit both ways, but yeah, Abed, yeah, he's tanking tower now.
If there is a rotation onto the TA with the chakram, you can actually tear off the refraction charges and kill her pretty easily.
Yeah.
Hello.
Probably need the centaur though. I don't think the Rubik is enough.
Oh, Abed finds an arcane rune too. TA was going for it, but didn't get there in time.
Be nice to use the soul ring with that. Needs the mana desperately.
I feel like this is actually starting to get annoying for the TA.
Yeah, for sure.
You're out farming the lane slightly, but he
There's
probably
the
doesn't
sentry.
quite feel that way.
Dire are scanning.
And you're
Radiant's
constantly,
bottom
like,
tower
the
is
Timber,
under
because
attack.
he taints the creeps under the tower, his creep wave is always on that Dire tower as well. So
Yeah.
TA just can't leave the lane, because the creep waves aren't meeting in the river.
Yep. One of the main reasons she picked the hero too is because she can farm both the lane and the jungle so quickly.
She's had some access to that medium camp, but every time she does, it's like Timber's pressuring tower. Hasn't done that much damage here. That's the one, at least, upside is that
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Timber isn't going to take your tower.
So that was a kill on the Undying without Roar, and he has been maxing out the Call of the Wild. So the damage increase 48 right now on the boar attack.
Yeah,
Gets up to 64. Pretty good.
This is the, yeah, I remember when the patch came out, people were theory crafting as the boar build back, and it looks that way.
Get him. Get him.
Getting
A
punched.
lot of damage. A lot of slow.
Does not have morph available.
Double
And
boar.
oh, the boar
slow,
was blocking him.
painful death.
Oh, Tim's got blocked in by the boar.
Still maybe going to get pressured here.
I'll switch into strength
Oh,
form.
and he sees the
Yeah.
Undying.
Oh, very close. Mid lane?
Did he kill the new boar or the old boar?
Not sure.
Ah, the new boar. No boars for this beast. 1 second, he has one.
He's fine. Gets the deny
Nice.
there.
I mean, seeing the net worth, though, TA is actually on track, though. Like, despite not having quite as much jungle farm, the fact that TA has completely, utterly free farmed the
Dire's
lane
middle tower
is
under attack.
still enough. But, and then now TA is just saying, well, I'll let my tower take some damage because I can farm Ancients.
Yeah.
It's actually maybe worth it for the TA in this scenario. And with the stack here, this is, you let your tower get down to half HP, ask a support to go and help out. And that's exactly what Lich will
He
do.
put a trap right on the tower too, so that when the Timber pushed, he would kill the wave.
Nice. Very clever.
Whoa, Cuckoo farming Ancients with the Beastmaster and the Salve.
Very slow early game. These teams normally have more aggressive games, but we're seeing, this TA free farming. All 3 cores on both sides are more or less free farm.
Dire's structures
No
are
one's
fortified.
having a bad game particularly. The Morphling may be slightly behind where he'd like to be, but even his lane's going just fine. It is TNC, though, who get the advantage because of the fact that TA just farms faster than everyone.
Well, I
else.
love the fort on that creep wave. Keep the siege creep alive.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the Timber typically wants to be taking the tier 1 tower at latest with the second siege creep at 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, rotation coming in. Armel in some trouble, and with the rotation, they get the kill. And brought the boars for that one.
I feel like if you don't take the tower with second siege creep, you're kind of behind as a Timbersaw.
Yeah.
And then you want to go to like another lane, like to take another tier 1 tower by like 15 minutes. Often sooner than that even.
I like the TNC, at the very least, they get the bot tower with that siege creep.
Definitely
And
good.
Ice defends the top tower by just cutting the wave and pulling it.
Looks like that was a TP away there by Ice.
Dyer's
Yeah.
middle tower is under attack.
We can see Brewmaster with that wave still look to push the tower. He has a siege creep of his own. But coming mid is the Beastmaster.
Dyer's middle tower is under attack.
See
Can't
what they can
really kill him. That's just
I don't think you kill
not on the
Timber.
cards. And there we go. Gets the knight. That's the key thing here. Take that gold away. How much gold are tier 1 towers? It's like 150 each?
It's
or
like 100 each at this.
100 each? Okay. It's always changing.
Yeah, pretty relevant though. Still,
No,
super
it's
good.
like close to a 1k gold swing
Yeah.
if you get the tower.
I'm gonna Google it. I'm actually curious.
So a 2,000 gold lead right now for TNC as they have taken the bottom tier 1 tower.
Yeah.
And
It's mostly the TA. Despite the TA dying, still 1,000 net worth ahead of anyone in the game.
I mean, it does still kind of feel like this looming threat of Abed just being impossible to deal with.
Tier 1s are 100.
100 per player.
100 per player, but then 150 to 250 for the last hit bounty. So you still prevent that last hit as well.
Yeah. So you're kind of denying basically 1,000 gold.
Yeah.
Maybe like closer to
750,
700.
yeah.
Yeah, 750.
Oh, Abed trying to steal the stack here. Doesn't look like he's going to be able to do it though with Ninja Boogie nearby.
There is this Timbersaw problem, but I think if you can properly just ignore him and play elsewhere on the map, the fact Timber isn't taking all the towers. Like you go back to the Ice Timber game, at this stage he'd taken at least like 3 towers on the map, was pressuring a tier 2 tower, and I think it's not an Abed out of control yet because he is only farming.
Surprised he hasn't rotated out of this lane. Just let a support take it, because I get it, there's a TA, you don't want TA to take your tower as well, but I mean, a support being here is enough.
And they don't have the best supports to maybe take advantage of it.
Yeah, Rubik can pull the wave,
Yeah.
at least. Now he's running top.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah, I
good
think
stuff.
The Ancients have already been cleared out
Yeah,
here.
he's drawing lines up there, and then this is definitely what you got to do is take these side lane towers.
Yeah.
The Master may have to split. No, he gets caught out.
The
And
Rubik
brought
stole
down.
the gaze.
That's what I was about to say. That's what it looked
Yeah.
like. I couldn't tell, but it looked like he was just walking towards Rubik.
Yeah.
He really wanted to get that Rubik.
And immediately TNC make the rotation towards mid. Abed's going to have to come and deal with this.
He kind of wants to leave his mid lane, but this is what happens, and
It's a
kind of
problem
what
with
Jenkins.
losing that tier 1 bot. The Shaman's there. Like, he just has free reign of this jungle area.
Wraparound could be coming. We'll see if they want to fight. They
They
do
have
have
Chain
Chain
Frost.
Frost available with the Sinister Gaze pulling Ice back in. Maybe? No, not doing it
Oh,
yet.
he got the bounce though. He went back to the Centaur.
Oh, the Soul Rip living for the moment, and now they turn onto Armel, able to catch him. There's the Stone Gaze, but still fine, and Abed chasing down
Refraction
Armel
plus Lich
here.
armor.
Yeah, but the Undying ultimate.
And slowing him down. Can they kill him off in time? They're moving in with Gabby. He still has split available as they try and kill off Armel. MP takes a tower in the meantime, still doing what he can for his team. And there's the interrupt. You aren't going to be able to chase down Armel anymore.
He's
Still
back
trying
in
to
with the
kill off
refraction.
Abed. Can they kill him off in time? Yes.
Oh, Armel. What a... I mean, he makes some nice plays, but his team actually bail him out there. They cancel the Timber Chain. They also stop the
stole
initial
it.
one. Okay. DJ,
Oh.
let's go. You shouldn't be stealing that, not with the Drunken Brawler these days.
That is a tip play for sure. Come on.
God dang.
You gotta go for the tip there.
What a great series of events there from Fnatic. Or rather, TNC taking down
Both-
Timber.
Yeah, I think both teams
Both
make a lot of really nice plays there. The Timber chasing is totally justified.
Yeah.
I feel like you do chase there, but the refraction came up just in time when he was on on the Radiant Hill on their side of the river with a Lich armor to keep him alive, and he gets back. The fact he's willing to put the next refraction on and then blink in to kill the Timbersaw took some balls as well.
Well, looks like.
But now Armel, he's gonna follow it up by getting caught out.
Balls are a little too big.
That's TA problems.
In the meantime, though, they send Cuckoo to the bot, and going for the Necrobook build has already pushed down the tier 2 tower. It's a lot of pressure early on. Has a roar. Ooh, DJ.
With the Necrobook, he wants to go for this kill, but
splits.
oh my god, he's gonna probably get this kill. Shaman's just like, I can't help you.
It's a big moment, and they're bringing in the Undying. Drops the Tombstone
He's
up on
killing
the high
the
ground,
Panda.
and Cuckoo, see you later.
Yeah, he's dead.
Mid lane.
He was not expecting that Rubik to have split.
Gabby is gonna try and TP out. Abed is enough damage. No, didn't punch him.
With the
Oh,
if he punched before Timber Chaining,
yeah.
because the Timber Chain took him out of range, but you can't do that mental math.
Hard to make that calculation.
Yeah, I think I think
on,
any pro
Abed.
player.
This guy's the first man to 10K, you know?
Yep. An
Should be able-
11K player would have done that
Yeah,
math.
true,
That's right.
True.
What's the highest MMR player these days? 'Cause no one really knows
Probably
what
like
anyone's MMR is.
8, 9K. Probably not even over 9K.
Oh.
8.5, something like that.
What's Tim's doing? He's just going for a walk.
Courier snipe, maybe with some Serpent Wards. I don't know.
Shackle the courier. Yeah, definitely.
Courier sniping with Serpent Wards is definitely a thing. Oh, it was for a little while.
Oh,
what?
wow. Oh, he
Oh.
got the strength form
Too greedy.
off.
He went for the right click.
Hmm.
I don't know if they get the kill anyways. He's got very high armor, but
Well, they turn around now, and MP Shackle and Tim's, and now a secondary
Chain
Shackle for
cross.
DJ. Everybody wants
Yeah.
to hold his hand.
that Chain Frost just with the Ninja Boogie coming in, they get the kill on the Undying, but they will feed the Serpent Ward gold.
God, these Rubik Morphling games.
It's just insanity.
Whose spell is whose?
Again?
Now, in the end of the day, they take down the 2 supports for the 1, so I think worth it for Fnatic.
Yeah, plus like 150 gold of Serpent Wards, but immediately TNC in the Roshan pit. They just got Armel's Deso with the Beastmaster. This is very easy for them
Lads
to
on
do.
Brood too. They went for such early game centric items.
That's interesting from the safe lane, but
Yeah.
I like it.
Man, I gotta say that they do ping it out though, but it's too late. The thing that I think is coolest about this TNC draft is you've got so much vision. The traps with the Hawk just scouting things around, and like how often has initiation been the deciding factor in these games? Gabby possibly gonna have to look for the split here. He tried to run away. Looks like it was a bit too greedy though, as he is gonna be punished, although he is gonna be able to get it off after the fact. And now the Roar turning onto the Rubik, maybe in some trouble. Can they kill him off in time? There's a Stampede to interrupt it a little bit. Running away, Abed trying to take down Cuckoo. They actually pushed him to the low ground though, so he's still fine for the moment. MP living through it. Still, they bop back on the Rubik, and now Abed trying to run through everybody, but they take far too much damage, and Cuckoo
Didn't get the split this time.
Ends
Rubik
up
was
living.
going for it.
Now, there's going to be the Shrine used, and DJ likely to fall. All of Fnatic.
God, that's 5 for nothing. They kill the Rubik twice. Gabby tips Abed. I was just about to say,
Radiant's top tower is
this is how you beat the Timbersaw. You Cyclone him. You ignore him.
Yeah.
If you're team fighting into a Timbersaw draft and make him useless with a Brewmaster Cyclone, easy fights. And
Radiant's
Brewmaster,
top
Gabby,
tower
he
is
recognizes it. He throws out some tips afterwards, knowing that
know-
that Cyclone wins them that battle.
You know who I would say the MVP of that fight was?
Who's that?
The Hawk.
Yeah?
The whole time that Hawk was alive on the high ground, it was
And-
a Hawk from Roche, and they chose intentionally to fight around it as if it's a ward, and that allowed them to do everything that they did in that fight, and there was no detection placed to kill the Hawk. It was at like 50% HP or
Radiant's
something like
top
that, just from
tower
the
is under
residual
attack.
damage that was happening, like the AoE damage, but it stayed alive during that whole fight. So when they run to the high ground, they're still scouted. Like they can't just run to their shrine and be fine and abuse all of the high grounds that are on the map now. Like with this Hawk, you can actually just fight anywhere and it doesn't matter.
It's such a great change bringing back the Invis Hawks.
It's very
good. The Hawk, when they changed it to be visible, the recent Beastmaster with the Boar and Hawk was just so useless in so many ways.
It's just a ward now. It's just a moving ward. Like that.
Well, it stays at the place where you send it to, right? Is
Yes.
that's how
Yeah,
it
but
works?
you can move it to
Yeah.
the location. Like
Yeah,
it runs to
it's
the
basically
location.
plant a ward at this location that you'd like to set.
Yeah. It's like a flare, I think.
Yeah. While it's going there, it's visible though.
No, it's invisible.
No, it's invisible.
Oh, it's invis the whole
yeah,
way there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like a better ward,
Oh
actually.
wow, that's actually insane. So it gives you, it's an
Yep.
invis rocket flare that retains vision.
Yep. So we can see like when they play around
And
it,
it
like it's
moves
a,
pretty
like
fast,
it's a
too.
ward. The thing is, like all of these high ground ward spots, they're considered broken, right? Like you have the spot where they call the fly spot. Like everybody tries to fight around these spots, right?
Yeah.
Especially on high grounds. Now look how many high grounds are in this game, and you don't with Beastmaster, you don't even need one of these high ground ward spots. You just have a free high ground ward.
And let's say that you try and fight around one of those, the enemy team thinks, oh, they had vision there for us, so maybe they drop a sentry afterwards, and then they're like, oh, there's nothing here.
Well, that's the thing. People are pre-placing sentries too, so they're dewarding wards. So the Hawk is even more valuable for that reason.
Yeah.
Because there's no wards on the map, because people placing so many sentries, but you just have the Hawk for every fight.
They caught him. Doesn't go for the punch this time, and poor old Morphling MP is just living.
Too much armor. Like the server wants to do no damage.
Where was the roar?
He was trying to chain it right at the end.
Didn't quite time it as well.
No.
Well,
Well,
Roar probably would have been a kill.
I
Would have
think
been
so.
close to.
I think so, yeah.
he had his
Would've been
necro
close.
books out.
At least he would burn the mana, and then he can't just waveform out,
That's
right?
true. The other, like, I think, kind of hidden thing I like about like things like the Hawk is if you're sending it into like a dangerous location, like a high ground, it lets like a teammate on your team know who is Shadowblade, whether there's sentries there. It's so nice, like when you have a sentry down somewhere and or like a Hawk there that's invis, you know there's no detection for it. You know you're not going to Shadowblade into a ward and just feed.
Yeah, that's true.
Radiant's top tower
It's one of those
has
things that
fallen.
like you don't really notice the impact of it, but the hero has gained like 6 or 7% in win rate for this reason. The Hawk is just so strong now because the board's not that great. I mean, we've seen the board. It's not something to write home about.
I mean, that's also in pubs where people don't buy wards, so playing with wards versus not.
Playing with wards.
I would say the vision is better and competitive.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
it's
I think
definitely-
that's what you said is true. People play around the vision better and
I
competitive.
was memeing. Right
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
That's what that was. It was a little.
I got you.
Little.
No, people. I think in pub games it's funny because you can just do like the most obvious easy wards and you get away with it. Like
Yeah.
you don't have to be clever with warding.
That's
in
why
pubs.
like so many people think they can support and they can't. They just place dumbass wards and nobody dewards because
Let's just place the same brainless cliff ward for the 10th time in a row.
Right.
But then yeah, no one really does play around them. But here we go, pushing high ground. Necrobooks, TA, Deso.
It's pretty hard. They don't have their Morphling.
Oh,
with
that
them.
was such a
okay.
nice. God.
And now he was
What a
trying to go
tiny-
in as the Aegis expired.
Mm.
Very heads up.
That was good Dota. That was from both teams.
I feel like TNC, since TI, I'm not to say they weren't TI, but like in the past, have shown insane discipline. This is a team that was like one of the last words I would describe to describe TNC historically. They're always a team that can be a bit sloppy, can throw games. They did do that a bit during the group stage, but their discipline, from the most part, from what I've seen, has been incredible.
Yeah.
Well, I think that like if you go the history of this organization, these players like they were happy about their results. Well, we'll have to hold that thought. I think maybe not. They're happy with like results coming out of like TI 6 and maybe even TI 7, but I think this last one was probably a little bit disappointing for them in their results.
Yeah, they got. Did they get bottom 4 or did they win the BO1? I can't recall if they won the BO1. They versed the other SCA team in the BO1, right? It was them versus Fnatic. I think they beat Fnatic and then lost in the next round.
Right. Fear pulls back in one. That's Timbersaw lifted in the air. He's going to hang out there for a moment or two and then going to get roared, and he has not moved from this spot for a little while. There's going to be the shackles. Timbersaw just going to chill as he eventually dies, and Jabs, the next one to be turned upon as well. Looks like they're expending everything out there. MP able to walk away, and eventually these buildings are going to fall.
These frontline cores for TNC are just so hard to deal with. They're just all super tanky. The TA with Refraction, BKB, the Brewmaster, Beastmaster, just these kind of tanky bruises as well. There's Serpent Woods, there's Necrobooks. It's just all this junk everywhere that you just can't get through.
They don't have enough damage at all to deal with this. The Morphlings felt like kind of a non-factor in a lot of these games.
Yeah. I'm not sure why. It was like so strong earlier. It's, I guess.
That was a buy in this pick, but we may have to reconsider a bit.
Although 26 minutes, we got the ice eggs. Can it do it for him again? No. Okay, well, maybe. I don't know.
Doesn't solve their damage problem. Like last game, the problem was surviving because they were against a Sand King Skywrath. This game, the problem isn't surviving; it's actually killing people.
Yeah.
So this Ags doesn't really fix their problems.
fallen.
Doesn't mean it's a bad item or the wrong choice. It's center. There's not an item you get to give your team damage. It's just tough.
There's a lot of pressure on the Morphling to do damage, or I mean, I guess the Timbersaw could pick up an eventual Aghanim Scepter, but he's not going for that. He's just going for being tanky.
You know what else I'm noticing is on TNC, it's Less of like the Wraith Bands, Bracers. It's more like items that are actually doing things, it feels like.
I had some early still. Like TA went double raid.
Right.
Brewmaster got at least one bracer. I think he maybe even
But he
had
went for the
second.
Vlads too, like
Yeah,
sort
yeah.
of funky items.
I think the Vlad's is unacceptable and it's not built out of crown.
Right.
Like the
Yeah,
headdress.
the Bassie's pretty valued.
And yeah, the headdress as well.
Headdress, yeah, yeah.
It's been buffed.
Yep.
So I think
Right.
Vlad's actually costs less now too, total.
That's pretty cheap.
He got a 1, so I think we're still seeing
That's
those cheap cost Vector items being bought. But
1900.
Yeah, it's cheap, man.
wow, it used to be definitely over 2K in the past, like 2K50 or something.
Yeah, because the Morbid Mask cost a lot more money when it was gave you damage as well.
Yeah.
But you would the thing is you would lose the damage when you upgraded it to Vlad's anyway.
Right.
So it's like if you're building Vlad's, you don't care that.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to build it on a carry almost, because you lost that bit of damage.
Yeah.
Oh,
go.
hello, the Sinister gaze into immediate death from DJ, and he buys back instantaneously.
Radiant's top tower is under
With
attack.
BKB for it, not really worth it for a Rubik.
Undying Ultimate is quite a long cooldown and actually very effective in fights now
Radiant's
too.
top
So
shrine is under attack.
that's something.
Yeah, they're just gonna fall back
When
to
you can
shrine.
fight without when the ultimate is down.
Yeah, I think it's fine because he
Radiant's
buys back,
top
you're getting
shrine
shrines,
has fallen.
and you're just gonna set up for next Roshan.
Yeah.
So even though it's a BKB for a support, it isn't really just a support. It's
It's something to do while waiting for Roche.
yeah. And now you've got something to do while waiting for your TA BKB.
This is like the ultimate place to fight, though, if you're Fnatic. In the Roche pit, but it's already gone.
They just drop Roche like it's nothing. And TA traps scat everything. The Hulk,
All right,
you mentioned
they
all the
just
vision.
Stampede. A
Oh.
good jump in, though, catching on to 2, on to 4, actually. And can they find any more? Abed in some trouble. They have Stampede already used, and no save is going to come out for Mr. Timbersaw.
Perma-stunned.
Tipped before he even goes down. Actually, Abed's living, okay. Surviving through it, at least the initial assault, and now with the decay, the double edge coming through as well. Can they kill him off in time? Well, no. Armel just turns it back around, and there's going to be the Aegis poppin', as I say, Sice eventually pummeled to death by Gabby. 3 are dead, only the Timber and the Morph left.
Wow, that team fight. Jenkins, let's talk tips.
Okay.
Tips him before thinking he's going to die. That's a high MMR tip, except he doesn't die.
I'm surprised to not see the tip back. I think that fight might have gone better if Abed had the presence of mind to tip while he was in the tornado. Perhaps he thought it was a Yule Scepter, so that would last less duration, so he wouldn't have time to tip. But he actually had a lot of time, so that was definitely going to be a value tip, but he didn't pull it off, and I think that's probably why they ended up losing that fight.
That's true.
Radiant's top tower
You got to do that with, you know, as soon as he popped that Bloodstone ulti or ability, that's when you do it. You're like, oh, you forgot about this, didn't you?
Because you're holding ult to see what the Bloodstone does too, so just
Definitely not Ninja Boogie's finest moment. Went for a big play, but couldn't quite do it.
They
but-
should probably just GG out right now, honestly.
Yeah. TNC, just call it. It's 2-0.
Yeah.
But I'm excited. We got game 3. This is hype.
This is amazing.
TNC bounced back. Not the...
oh, there's the tips.
the Ice Ninja Boogie tips.
They did
Tip for
kill
tip.
off Cuckoo.
Yeah, they're going out after Ice, hoping to tilt him before game 3. This is clever plays.
That is, I mean, they still have some tips available.
They got to get to game 3 first.
Yeah, it's true.
Fnatic say we're not done yet. They are down 4 racks, so this is pretty insurmountable, but we'll see if they can pull off any magic.
See, Timber doesn't feel anywhere near as strong when you have 3 cores that are more farmed than he is on the enemy team.
Yeah.
He just does not have the items to survive through their burst, even with all the armor.
Well, and we thought that it was going to be a good Timber game. Like, what was the problem? Does it, like, him not leaving that mid lane, or was it?
I think he got really outplayed by Armel on the TA. I think
In lane or?
I think in general the TA is just
yeah.
playing incredibly well
Right.
and completely destroying this game.
This is 100% the Armel show. Like,
Yeah.
he is standout player by a big margin. I think I do agree with you, Gabe, that not leaving the mid lane is a big part of that.
I think so too.
They didn't get that tier 1 top tower until very, very late. I also think Timber maybe is just way weaker in the mid lane compared to the side lanes.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think you want him as a safe laner or an off laner.
I don't know how I feel about Abed on Timber either. It doesn't necessarily seem like it's his
Yeah.
play style.
But I think the to speak of how Armel played him, a lot of it was the fact he just kept Abed mid for so long. Like him not leaving mid was in large part due to Armel's great play.
Well, and it took a long time for the Timber to get online too, just because he was hitting so many side blades. The Timber's sitting at like 30% HP in the lane for the entire start of the laning phase, which means that the Timber will obviously eventually come online when he gets the levels, but it was a lot later into the game just because of pure skill. That's always going to be a factor. This hero likes to come online as soon as possible and get those towers.
Yep. There were some smaller factors, like once the team fight started happening, Timber's trying to get involved and just being cycloned, and he's the most farmed hero on their team, meant to be the highest impact, and he's just deleted from a fight.
Yeah.
All right.
Here we go.
When the Spirit Vessel comes out before the Lotus Orb, that's always when you have issues.
Got themselves one. And speaking of Spirit Vessel, it's on the Timbersaw. Stampede away, still trying to live, but it's not going to be enough. Tim's is going to die. A Chain Frost doing a decent amount, but it's still a BKB on MP. And
get both the supports, but I think that's the fight for Fnatic. You kill the supports, and now you're in trouble.
Cuckoo's just trying to hit the tombstone from the low ground, and well, looks like MP might end up getting ran down.
They just have no answers to the TNC cores. You can kill these squishy supports, and if you get out, it's fine. That's actually well worth it because Fnatic haven't lost any of their cores yet, but that changes.
And Ice just a second too late there. It's going to be lifted again, and Abed misses the chain. It is looking like this one is just about all she wrote.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Well played
GG.
by TNC, as they're going to take the first game that anybody has been able to off of Fnatic.
This one looked pretty solid from minute 0 too. They always seemed like they had control in this game. That was the TA show for sure. That was a really nice TA performance. I do think the hero's probably, I think she's pretty highly rated, but I still think she's probably a little underrated.
Well, we're looking at the pro player pub stats the other day on the website.
Yeah, here it is. 56% win rate.
Yeah, she's 7th highest
Yep.
in terms of win rate. That's, I think, only considering like ones that have played a certain number of games, but that's pretty high. Well, Sanking's #1 now. That's good.
Hey.
That's not a hero I would expect.
58% win rate.
You know what it is?
814
I get-
picks.
I
He's
get-
by far the most picked there.
I get why he had a lower win rate to start, just because nobody really knew what to skill on him.
Right.
Mhm.
But now people are maxing the Sandstorm.
Yeah.
So it's a lot stronger.
Every time I hop on Dota right now, I just see Jack spamming Sand King, like the dirty person that he is.
Is he gaining MMR with that?
I mean, probably not.
He got up to Immortal. I saw him tweet about
yeah,
it.
he is.
Wow.
He was proud of himself. As he
He's
should be.
still sub 2K party MMR.
I mean, that's value. That's. I want to party queue with people who will bring me down into those games.
Exactly.
That is where Dota can be enjoyed.
Worth noting in this last game as well, Gabby, 23,000 damage, Armel 26. So even though it was like TA having this amazing game, it shows this value of a Brewmaster. And
Yeah.
I think this VODs, there's something to this.
That's a great item for them, yeah.
Like, I've been wondering, like, what is it going to take to sort of get people to stop just maxing out on bracers and wraith bands? And he's still got one because the items are ridiculous, but maybe get a couple of these other value things.
I think the super value from Armel, the really good play, isn't really even all in his hero damage. It's the lane pressure. He's always shoving lanes. He's threatening Roshan. Like, I would say Cuckoo had more of an impact on his Beastmaster than Gabby's Brew. I mean, everyone played well. I'm like, not to pick favorites or whatever, but like Cuckoo took both those bottom tier 1 and tier 2 towers so incredibly fast. Tim's on the Shaman was a big part of that as well. Then he comes mid to pressure towers. It was just relentless. They just kept on pressuring towers when the Timber's on the other side not pressuring towers.
Like, as soon as the Timber left mid for the first time, immediately they're pressuring the mid tower. That's so obnoxious to deal with.
Well, ladies and gents, that's going to do it for game number 2. Game number 3 right around the corner. Who is it that's going to be the first person coming from the Southeast Asian region into the Chongqing Major? Let's find out right after this. Fnatic TNC Predator coming up.